How to know if your spouse is a sex addict. Is your sex-obsessed spouse actually a sex addict? See what mental health experts have to say. You will need criteria, contemplation, and a mental health professional. Step 1. Understand that there is no actual disorder known as sex addiction. Most mental health professionals agree that addictions involve substances, not behaviors. Some therapists believe that the behavior commonly called sex addiction is better classified as a type of obsessive-compulsive disorder. The American Psychiatric Association has proposed that a condition called hypersexual disorder be included in the 5th edition of the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, to be published in 2013. Step 2. Think about when your spouse becomes consumed with sex, whether the compulsion involves extramarital affairs, masturbation, pornography, cybersex, phone sex, or some other form of sexual stimulation. Sexperts say hypersexual individuals often turn to sex during stressful life events or whenever they're feeling anxious or depressed. Step 3. Weigh the recklessness involved in your partner's pursuit of sexual pleasure. People who compulsively seek sexual satisfaction often do so with complete disregard to how their behavior may hurt themselves or their spouse, either physically or emotionally. Step 4. Calculate the time your spouse spends on their sexual compulsions. Someone truly hooked on sex devotes a good portion of their time, and often their money, to planning their sexual adventures and engaging in them. Step 5. Ask yourself whether your spouse has truly tried to curtail their behavior. Trying repeatedly and unsuccessfully to stop the sexual compulsion is a hallmark of hypersexual disorder. Step 6. Make them get help. Regardless of what it's called, or whether it's even a real illness, a mate's obsession with sex is not good for your mental health, and it poses a danger to your physical health if it involves other sexual partners. Did you know 3 to 5% of Americans engage in sexually compulsive behavior, according to the Society for the Advancement of Sexual Health?
How to know if your boyfriend is abusive. Sometimes abuse is obvious, but other times it's not so clear-cut, and recognizing it can be hardest for the person who's being abused. You will need an honest evaluation of your relationship. Step 1. If your boyfriend has ever laid a hand on you, even if it was just once, there's no need to go any further. You are being abused and you need to break things off. Physical abuse often starts in little ways, a shove here, a squeeze there, and then escalates. Step 2. Don't discount emotional abuse. Does he regularly put you down? That's abuse too, even if he says he's just kidding. Step 3. Think about the influence he has over your life. Does he try to control which friends and family members you see, how you dress, or how you spend your time without him? Many abusers are controlling. Step 4. Consider how he makes you feel. Are you anxious much of the time? Are you getting more headaches and stomach aches? Do you worry about disappointing him or making him angry? Even if he's never physically hurt you, do you feel like he could someday? Step 5. Think about his other relationships. Does he get into a lot of fights? Have any of his ex-girlfriends claimed he abused them? Does he have a bad temper? Is he manipulative? If family, friends, or even acquaintances are cautioning you about him, take their warnings seriously. Step 6. Don't blow off threats he's made to harm you, even if they were said in the heat of an argument or in a jokey, "this is what will happen to you if you ever dump me" kind of way. Step 7. Consider if your relationship fits the cycle of abuse. An explosive outburst followed by a honeymoon phase where he begs forgiveness and acts like the perfect boyfriend, followed by a tension phase where you're walking on eggshells waiting for the next blow-up. Step 8. If you have any doubts about whether you're in an abusive relationship, talk to someone who can give you an unbiased opinion. Call the National Domestic Violence Hotline or the National Teen Dating Abuse Hotline for help. Visit ndvh.org and loveisrespect.org. Step 9. Do whatever it takes to get away from the abuser and stay away. Did you know 16 to 24-year-old women enter physically abusive relationships more often than women in any other age group?
How to have a one-night stand. Craving one night of sex with no commitment? Here's what you need to do to make it happen. You will need attractiveness, good hunting grounds, party animals, strategizing, and honesty. Step 1. Look your best if you want to have a one-night stand. Though appearance often plays a role in attracting potential partners overall, it's a priority for both genders in deciding to have a one-night stand with someone. Step 2. Find good hunting grounds. A vacation resort where people are more relaxed, a wedding where sentimentality prevails, or an office party where common sense sometimes goes out the window. A tragedy or disaster is also a good time because people are in a seize the moment frame of mind. 29% of people polled have had a one-night stand following a holiday party. Step 3. Look for people who are in the center of the action, laughing and having a good time. They are more likely to be up for a commitment-free, one-night stand than the wallflowers. Step 4. Be strategic. If you spot 2 potential one-night stands who are together, go for the less attractive person. It not only increases your chances of getting lucky, but may make your first choice so jealous that you'll end up going home with them. Step 5. Don't pretend a one-night stand is more than it is. If you have no intention of seeing the person after you sleep with them, simply thank them for a good time and be on your way. Having a one-night stand isn't an excuse to be a jerk. Did you know? Scientists have found a gene variant that makes people more likely to engage in uncommitted sex, including one-night stands and infidelity.
How to tell if your girlfriend's a psycho. She needs constant affection, obsesses over your every move, and has a collage of photos of you on her wall. Is she crazy about you or just plain crazy? You will need an open mind, friends you trust, and money for dinner. Step 1. Pay attention. A delusional person spends more time in a fantasy world than in reality. If your girlfriend talks incessantly about her celebrity crush, it may be a symptom of a more serious problem. An emotionally damaged person may resort to pining for the unattainable in order to keep themselves safe. Step 2. Does she obsess over her physical appearance to the extent that it's a problem? Self-image is one thing, narcissistic personality disorder is another. Step 3. Does she dress like she's single even when you're together? Either she's playing the field while you're still on it, or she's got major self-esteem issues. Officially consider it a bad thing if your girlfriend desperately needs the attention of every guy in the room on a regular basis. Women who suffer from the volatile condition known as histrionic personality disorder constantly seek attention, need frequent reassurance on their appearance, and behave and dress in a sexually seductive manner, especially at inappropriate times. Step 4. If she's blatantly flirting with other men in front of you, make it clear to her that you're not pleased. Subtly, if possible. This will send her the message that you refuse to be manipulated. Step 5. Ask your friends what they honestly think of your girl. Many times they can see flaws that you overlook. Step 6. If she continues to flirt with other men, even after you've expressed your displeasure, she's clearly testing you. Women who constantly play head games with their boyfriends are likely unstable and certainly insecure. Step 7. If she picks a fight about issues of no consequence, she probably has trouble misdirecting her anger. While this isn't abnormal in itself, if later she still fails to see that the fight wasn't really about the spilled drink, she's definitely got issues. Step 8. In the end, most guys will tell you that even the most lovable women in the world are just the tiniest bit crazy. When all is said and done, it's up to you to decide just how nuts is too nuts. Did you know? In 1987, the American Psychiatric Association deemed premenstrual syndrome a psychiatric disorder.
How to tell if your boyfriend's a psycho. He calls 50 times a day, obsesses over every date, and gets jealous when you talk to other guys. Is he crazy about you or just plain crazy? You will need an open mind, friends you trust, and a sexy outfit. Step 1. Psychos are usually possessive, so test him by doing a small thing to make him jealous, like sharing your secret crush on a celebrity you're unlikely ever to meet, and see whether he overreacts. Step 2. Pay attention to whether or not he attempts to dictate how everything around him is done. Punctuality is one thing, being a control freak is another. Step 3. Go out with him in an outfit that's more revealing than you'd normally wear, and see if he tries to dictate the way you dress. When dealing with a control freak, stay as calm as possible. This can serve to relax them as well. If you match their level of aggression, you've chosen to fight on their terms, not yours. Step 4. At dinner, observe how he interacts with the waiter. A philosophy widely known as the waiter rule makes the claim that you can learn more about a person from how they treat a waiter than from how they treat you. Step 5. Ask your friends what they honestly think of your guy. Many times they can see flaws that you overlook. Step 6. Watch how he reacts when you flirt with other men. If he flies into a rage, he has definite jealousy issues. Step 7. Pick a fight over something stupid like the drink he spilled at dinner. If he goes nuts, he's probably a bit unstable. Step 8. If, after all these little tests, your guy hasn't gone bonkers, hold on tight. You've found a keeper. Did you know 92% of American serial killers are men?